MakingAScene.org brings you the AI feedback loop, using fan behavior to train better marketing over time. All right, let's just jump right into this explainer. Look, if you're an independent artist, you already know the grind. It is incredibly tough to get your music heard when you don't have a massive major label machine backing you up. But today we're going to fundamentally change how you think about reaching your audience. No more shots in the dark.
I mean, be honest for a second. Is your marketing basically just throwing spaghetti at the internet and praying something sticks? For years, indie artists have essentially been told to market their music by guessing. You know the drill. You guess what time to post, you guess what email subject line sounds cool, and you guess which t-shirt design might actually sell. You're basically just crossing your fingers. And let's be real, it's an incredibly frustrating way to operate, isn't it?
So here's our roadmap for this explainer. We're going to start with the guessing game, then we'll compare signals versus relationships. Next up, we map out the fan passport, dive straight into the AI feedback loop, talk about prompting AI the right way, and finally, look at the artist advantage. Just a quick step-by-step breakdown to show you how to stop guessing and actually build a data ecosystem you own.
Okay, kicking things off with Section 1, the marketing guessing game. We really need to take a hard look at the reality of how independent artists have been conditioned to operate for years.
The core problem here is perfectly captured by this phrase from MakingAScene.org, digital busking in a hurricane. Honestly, that hits the nail on the head, doesn't it? That's exactly what the old strategy feels like. You drop a Spotify link literally everywhere, you blast out one generic email, and then you just sort of sit back and hope the algorithm decides to smile on you today. Spoiler alert, that's not really a strategy at all.
Moving right along to Section 2, Signals versus Real Relationships. Now, this next concept, it's absolutely crucial. There's a massive difference between what streaming platforms give you and what you actually need to survive as a working artist.
When you put them side by side, the difference is basically night and day. Take a look at streaming signals. We're talking saves, playlist ads, monthly listeners. Now look at owned power, email clicks, merch purchases, and QR code scans at your merch table. Here's the thing. While a stream points toward interest, it absolutely does not give you their email address. It doesn't give you any real relationship control. You only unlock that true owned power when fans actually interact with your own website.
Which leads us perfectly into Section 3, the fan passport map. The big question here is, how do we take all those random isolated fan actions on your website and weave them into an actual cohesive story?
Enter the fan passport. This is essentially a system that records relationships. It takes all those scattered fan actions from across your ecosystem and connects them into a literal map. By using the MakingAScene.org fan passport concept, you're taking what is basically digital dust, like a single stream, a random QR scan at a gig, maybe a merch buy, and turning it into a clear picture of exactly how a casual listener turns into a die-hard superfan. It shows you who your fans are actually becoming over time.
All right, Section 4, the AI feedback loop. Let's see how all of this builds into the core solution. And to be clear, this is where AI steps in. Not as a fake songwriter and not as some robot pretending to be your manager, but as your dedicated marketing engineer.
This AI feedback loop is built on 4 really straightforward parts. Step 1, you launch a campaign. Step 2, you track the resulting behavior. Step 3, you feed that nice, clean data into your AI so it can learn. And Step 4, improve. You let the machine recommend your next smarter move based on actual, hard evidence. Suddenly, every single release or merch drop is teaching you how to crush the next one.
To make this super practical, we need to talk about Section 5, prompting for better marketing. Let's talk about what you actually need to feed into this loop so you don't just end up with a digital junk drawer full of useless numbers.
The golden rule here, only track actions that actually matter. Seriously, you do not need to track every single click on the internet. As MakingAScene.org points out, the absolute best data connects directly to a decision. We're talking email clicks that lead to purchases, landing page conversions, coupon uses, live show ticket buyers, and those merch table QR scans. Knowing that a specific email link led directly to a merch sale, that is infinitely more valuable than just tracking how many people happen to open the email.
But here's the catch, and it's a big one. You have to give your AI context, roles, and strict rules. If you just dump a messy spreadsheet into ChatGPT or Claude and say, hey, make this better, it's going to spit out some generic corporate nonsense dressed in business pajamas. AI needs precise direction to give you actionable insights.
To get those real insights, you have to get incredibly specific. Check out this prompt.
Act as a music marketing strategist. Analyze the data and tell me what worked. Do not recommend vanity metrics unless they connect to email signups, sales, ticket demand. See what we did there? This exact prompt for a campaign review forces the AI to focus strictly on direct revenue and ownership. No more chasing empty feel-good numbers that don't actually help you grow.
Here's another super powerful one for your emails. Review these email campaign results. Identify the tone and message that produced the strongest revenue behavior, then rewrite the next email in the artist's voice. By using a specific prompt like this, you train your system to refine your messaging and timing, but, and this is key, without ever sounding like a soulless ad agency. Your authentic personal connection stays completely intact.
Or what about planning a tour? Imagine typing this. Using this fan passport data, email location data, streaming city signals, identify the strongest cities for future shows. This tour routing prompt is a total game changer. AI can spot geographical patterns way faster than a human staring at spreadsheets at 1 a.m. while eating stale venue pizza. It'll instantly categorize cities into high-confidence markets, test markets, and weak markets, so you know exactly where to book your next run.
So the big takeaway here is that doing a weekly AI review builds real intelligence over time. Make it a weekly habit, and you'll start identifying seasonal behaviors, strong cities, and high-value fan segments. Over time, it lets you easily test whether, say, a VIP ticket offer works better than a signed merch bundle. It completely transforms your entire marketing strategy from top to bottom.
All right, wrapping things up with Section 6, the new artist advantage. Let's look at how this whole system completely shifts the balance of power back to you, the artist.
First, though, a super important warning about privacy rules. Always ask permission, explain what you're collecting, protect the data, absolutely do not sell it, and use anonymized IDs for your AI. Remember, your fans are people, not just data cows. You have to build trust. So, when feeding data to AI, you anonymize it. Say, 37 fans in Atlanta bought a shirt instead of pasting in their personal details. If you lose their trust, all this data becomes entirely worthless anyway.
Which brings us to one defining question you really need to ask yourself. Are you building a memory, or are you just begging an algorithm? When your own website is your true hub, and your AI assistant is the one reviewing the behavior, you stop begging social platforms for a scrap of attention. Instead, you start building an institutional memory of who your true supporters actually are. And that memory? That is your most valuable asset in this industry.
The entire philosophy is perfectly summed up by this quote. The AI feedback loop is not about turning art into math. It is about using math to protect the art. That is such a powerful insight from makingascene.org. It reminds us that using evidence-based marketing isn't selling out, it's ensuring you can build a sustainable artist business, one that actually survives so you can keep making the music you love without burning out in the process.
This really is the end of dumb guessing. Just imagine, if you could predict exactly what your most loyal fans wanted next, what kind of art would that free you up to create? Make sure you check out the other great articles and resources on makingascene.org, the place the indie artist goes to build the new music industry.